Hi, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name is Megan, and I'm also known as Nightingale Tarot. I'm a certified nurse midwife by day and often by night, who also happens to be a tarot master. I've been reading tarot for about 26 years as of 2024, and I've been teaching tarot for about the past 5 years. I also read Lenormand and regular playing cards, as well as runes, bones, oracles, so let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing any of those other things for my videos in addition to tarot. You can find me in all the places by following the link tree in the description box below the video. That's where you'll learn how to contact me, as well as learn more about my services. You'll learn how to book several different types of private readings for yourself, or also malocchio, also known as evil eye removal. Most of my readings and services are virtual, via Zoom, phone, or sometimes even email, so you don't have to be living in Honolulu in order to get a reading from me. I love to read your comments, I love to answer your questions, and I love to engage with you here, so don't be shy with your comments, and don't hesitate to drop a request in that comment box if there's a specific topic you'd like to see me read on for you. If you like what you see, I greatly appreciate a quick click of the like and subscribe button from you. Don't forget to turn on notifications if you want to make sure you don't ever miss any new content. For today's reading, I'll be using the Lumina Tarot. This is the French edition of this deck because the English edition has been sold out for 10,000 years and it's out of print. So I found a French edition, and I speak a pretty good amount of French, so this worked well for me. The artist is Lauren Aletta. I'll also be using a deck that likely needs no introduction, but this particular version of this deck is the first edition printing that was printed the year I was born. I was super excited to find this first edition printing of the one, the only Thoth deck, Aleister Crowley, and the art is by, I think we all know this by now, Lady Frida Harris. And then I will also be using the Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinane. I have a lot of her decks. I have several of her decks. She's actually one of my favorite tarot artists. So there's that. Today's topic is messages and signs from your guides and your ancestors. This is a big reading because I'm going to be actually channeling messages from your guides and possibly from your ancestors, who, that's sometimes the same thing, directly to you. So keep in mind, these are general readings. Each pile is for many people at once. So it's important to take what resonates with you and leave behind what doesn't, because that message is likely for someone else. Don't worry, because you'll have at least one really clear, direct message for you here today. I promise. Don't forget, you can also follow the link tree in the description below to book a private and much deeper reading with me that is entirely specific to you and your situation on this topic or any other topic you'd like to look at if that's something you want to do. So what do you do now? Now you need to think of your specific situation regarding today's topic. Think about what questions you would like answered today and pick a pile. Pile 1 is the Lumina Tarot with the hematite skull. Pile 2 is the Crowley Thoth deck with the Palo Santo stick. And pile 3 is the Crow Tarot with the Crow foot. If you need a little time, you can pause the video here, but don't overthink it. Take a deep breath, go with your gut. Your first instinct is usually best. Which pile are you most drawn to today? Okay. Keep in mind you can skip the video straight to the pile that you chose. You'll find the timestamps in the description below. Click it, it'll take you straight to that pile. And let's get started with pile 1. Okay, using the Lumina Tarot, we will be channeling messages and signs directly from your guides and or ancestors. Are there signs that you're receiving that you're missing? Or maybe are there signs that you're receiving that you're just not 100% clear on? You're getting them, but you're not quite sure what they mean. Let's see if we can navigate that today. I just want to show you something before we get started. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this is my cup of water. I always have a cup of water on my desk whenever I'm reading tarot, and I actually keep water on my various altars at all times because it's believed that water is a conduit for spirits, spirit communication, and spirit messages. It's believed that when your water that you have out gets bubbles in it, that is a sure and positive sign that you have been visited and that spirit is present. Whether or not you can see it, it's here. This cup is full of bubbles right now. Full of bubbles. They're all the way around the sides and they're all in the top too. So you go ahead and take that as you will. Our cup of water is full of bubbles. So let's get started. I'm going to start off and say some of you, not everyone who chose pile 1, but there's definitely a group in pile 1 that's having a problem with addiction. Whether that be addiction to food, addiction to drugs, alcohol, sex addiction, whatever, it doesn't matter. Addiction to possibly a person, because, we can be addicted to people within relationships. There is an addiction issue here. And your guides and ancestors recognize this addiction issue and are begging you to see the light and to walk away from this situation. Now, that's easier said than done, right? The message that's coming through is that really the reason that you're still struggling with this particular addiction is because of the company you're choosing to keep. There's very much a feeling of having difficulty standing up to those around you. Like, I don't necessarily want to be doing this thing, but I'm unable to stand up for myself, to essentially stand up and step up and push back against those around me who are the problem. I feel like you are absolutely being deceived by someone around you. That is an important message that's coming through, at least for some of you. There's some deception. There is some taking advantage of. So if those of you in pile 1, if your question was, am I being deceived? Please let me know if it's time to walk away. The answer is yes, you are being deceived, and yes, it is time to walk away. So that's a very important message coming through for pile 1 as well. I believe, as far as the signs for you, that you are likely receiving signs and messages all the time, and you are, for whatever reason, missing them. You're unable to see them. They're not coming through to you. So I don't necessarily think you're receiving signs that you don't know how to interpret. I think pile 1 is missing the signs completely, for the most part. There is a sense of urgency within this pile. Guides and ancestors are asking you to move quickly. So those of you who chose pile 1 that are thinking of, should I do this now or should I do this later? If that was your question, the answer is now. You should be doing this now. You should be moving quickly. You should be, not hesitating. Just get on with doing what it is you're thinking about doing. Really, the main takeaway for pile 1 is a situation that you are in that is not good for you. It is no longer serving you. You need to walk away from it. You need to take accountability for your role in this situation. And then you also need to understand that the other party, whoever is on the other side of the situation, the other people involved, also need to take accountability for their role. And I don't know that they are. I think this is going to be up to you to walk away. Yes, you are being deceived. Yes, you need to get out quickly. No, the situation is not good for you. So that is my main message for pile 1. Get out. Do it now. Yes, you're being deceived. Yes, you're missing the signs. You're being given signs, and you're missing them. I think one of the signs that you are likely being given that you need to be on the lookout for is flowers. If you find yourself out and about and you are suddenly noticing flowers, specific flowers that are reminding you of a particular ancestor, or making you think of a particular time when you really connected with maybe a spirit guide or something like that, and this flower reminds you of that, pay very close attention to what is around you, because this looks to be how your guides and ancestors are communicating with you through the language of flowers or plants or something along those lines. So be on the lookout for that. Pile 1, that is you. So now let's move on to pile 2. Okay, pile 2. This is you with the tote deck and the Palo Santo stick. Not just any tote deck, the first edition, first printing, greeny tote deck. And they call it that because the borders of the cards in the first edition had this sort of green hue to them. And that's, if you ever hear people refer to, I have a greeny tote deck, this is what they're talking about. It's also large, which is great because you can see the art so well, because the art in this deck is absolutely outstanding. Tote deck is one of the first tarot decks I ever had way back, 26, 27 years ago when I first started reading. I had 2 decks, and the not this exact copy, but a copy of the tote deck was my second deck that I ever got. As you can see, it's a little unruly, a little difficult to shuffle because it's big, but that's okay, it's worth it. She is worth the effort, this deck. I have a cat running around absolutely crazy behind me, and I'm throwing this deck all over the desk. So pile 2, buckle up. We are likely to get some really important messages for you today because of the amount of chaos that's being brought into just setting this up. And I also wanted to point out to pile 2, as I pointed out in pile 1, I have my glass of water here. I always have a glass of water out somewhere on my desk when I'm doing a reading, and I also keep water on my various altars all the time. It is believed that water is a conduit for spirit to pass messages through to our side of things. And it is said that when your water fills with bubbles, that is a positive sign that spirit has come through and that you are being communicated with. And I've shown this, but I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on camera, but this glass is full of bubbles right now. It's full of bubbles. And this is just a glass of water. This is not carbonated water, but it looks carbonated right now. That's how much bubble activity is in it. So let's get into your reading. Okay. Guides, ancestors, spirit, however you want to refer to, that side of things without getting woo-woo, because I'm not into woo-woo. But that side of things wants to acknowledge loss and heartbreak that you have had and that you are likely still struggling with. Now, whether this is the loss of the don't want to say entity, a guide, ancestor. I don't really even know which word I want to use. These are heavy readings, guys. They make me trip over my words. Whether it is the loss of this person that I am communicating with, or whether it's loss, heartbreak on this side of things, with a relationship or whatever, we are acknowledging that right now. It also looks like a sign that is associated with that for some of you. Just like in pile 1 is a flower, this particular flower appears to be a magnolia or some other kind of large white flower. So when you receive that, that is a sign from your ancestors and guides that they are acknowledging your heartbreak, acknowledging your loss, and more importantly, they are letting you know that you can and will be happy, that you can and will move on, and you will find a way to integrate this loss and heartbreak that you've experienced into your life in such a way that you will learn from it, you will grow from it, and you will make a new path, essentially, for yourself in the wake of this heartbreak. I also see that there's a lot of worry and concern and fear of it. Am I going to be okay after this? This was obviously a big loss that was likely recent. For whenever you're finding this reading and choosing this pile, this is likely a recent loss or a recent heartbreak. And I think there is concern over whether or not you're ever going to get there again. And there's very clear messaging here that not only are you going to get there again, but I feel like there are times when you kind of, you feel like giving up. And I really want this to be your sign today to not give up. That the battle that you're fighting is absolutely worth fighting, and it is worth winning. And your guides and ancestors and spirit really, really want you to know today that you are going to win the battle. That is the big theme of today's message for you, is that you will be happy again. The worry that you have about staying in this dark, heartbroken place forever is temporary. And on days that you feel like giving up, it is so important for you to remember that like I said, you will actually come back to that place before this heartbreak and before this loss. And I do see clear messaging coming through here that you have a happy life in front of you. So keep going, keep fighting the battle. Know that you are really the only one who can rebuild and put these pieces back together. And also be on the lookout, like I said, for white flowers, particularly large white flowers, things like magnolias, things like, what are the big Japanese, the big like cabbage looking flowers, those. It's like that. The large white chrysanthemums, the big ones, the big, Japanese flowers, those. Things like white cabbage roses, those are the things that you're looking for. And if you are thinking of a particular ancestor that you associate with those flowers, that's who's talking to you today. So pile 2, that's you. I hope this message helps you get to where you need to be. And just one last thing for you, pile 2, since this jumped out at the last second. A reminder that you already have all the tools in place that you need to do this. So if you're waiting for something or thinking you need something to line up differently in order to go ahead and just live your best life, you actually don't need anything. Everything you need is already right there. As a side note for that, if you liked to go to magic shows, or like carnival, magic, like pull a rabbit out of a hat magic shows with an ancestor, that is who is coming through for definitely a group of you who are watching this today. So let's move on to pile 3, the crow deck with the crow foot. All right, pile 3, let's see what messages are coming through for you today from guides, ancestors. I don't know if you can hear my cat absolutely having the most massive case of the zoomies behind me. That's Bramble, who, if anybody's had any private readings with me, you've all met Bramble. He's back there just like having post-dinner wild zoomies right now. I also want to point out, which I've done in the other 2 piles, my glass of water. I always have a glass of water on my desk or somewhere near whenever I'm reading tarot, and I keep water on my various altars at all times, because water is said to be a conduit for spirit and spirit messages. And the rule is that whenever you set your glass of water out and your water becomes filled with bubbles, at any point, that is a positive sign that guides and ancestors have come through and are present. And so it doesn't show up well on camera, I don't think, but this cup is full of bubbles right now. They're all the way around and they're all across the top. It looks carbonated. It looks like carbonated water, and it's not carbonated water. It's just regular water from the tap. So, take that as you will and do what you want with that information. All right, it's tile 3. Pile 3, signs that you are receiving from your ancestor or guides that you need to pay attention. Keys. Keys. If you see references to keys, if you're, all of a sudden start noticing somebody says the key to this or the key to that, or you find a key on the ground or keys, this is your sign to look alive and pay attention, because that is when you have a guide and or an ancestor around you who is likely trying to communicate with you. So keys are what you're looking for. Okay. So messages coming through for you just right out of the gates. You have so much worry. I feel that what I'm receiving here is that you are very worried that you have let a particular female ancestor down or angered them. Specifically, there's going to be a chunk of you who are worried about the life partner that you chose. I chose this person to be my life partner, and I know that it let this ancestor down, or it could be someone who is still alive, whatever. Someone in your life, likely a very outspoken, strong female, has been, or you perceive has been upset by this decision, this life partner. For a chunk of you. For others, it's some other large life decision, like a location that you've decided to move to against the advice of this person, or thinking, oh, she'd be so upset if she knew I did this, or it's something along those lines. It's a large life decision, a career choice, a life partner, a location choice, a decision to have a baby or to not have a baby or something. It is a large life decision like that. And there's a lot of concern that you have let this person down with this decision. And I mean, concern to the level of this is keeping you up at night. Like you think about this a lot. And what I'm hearing is that what this person, this ancestor, this person that you've upset wants you to understand is that there's likely been a disconnect there, like you're not speaking to this person anymore, or if this person has passed, you're feeling very disconnected, like you're intentionally disconnecting and kind of pulling back from this person. And for those of you who this person is alive that I'm talking about in this pile, they want to reconnect with you. And like I said, the signs that you're receiving are keys. So I think the story goes like this. When you start seeing keys, references to keys this, keys that, your guides are really nudging you to reconnect with this person that you fear you may have angered with this life decision. So I really think you need to spend some time. We have the Hermit out here. You need to spend some time in, meditation or prayer or whatever, whatever it is you do to connect with your intuition, and really think about how you want to reconnect with this person. And I think you also need to be prepared for the fact that this person likely actually does know what's best for you. So you've made this big life-altering decision. You are concerned that you've upset someone, either living or past, and you're very isolated now from that person, living or past, either spiritually or actually physically, like not talking to them. And whenever you reconnect, the message that I get coming through is that your guides and your ancestors are telling you that you really actually should consider listening to this person's advice, that this person understands things in a way that you don't necessarily understand things and knows what's good for you in a way that you may not be able to necessarily understand for yourself. So if this person has passed, my recommendation is to visit a gravesite, make offerings, light a candle, do whatever you can to try to really connect with the wisdom and guidance of this person. And like I said, be on the lookout for the keys, because that's when you're going to start to notice stuff around you, that the synchronicities, things are kind of clicking in a way. Connect with this person who has passed. If this person is still alive, for those of you in the pile that you know who this strong, outspoken female is that you've upset, that you're worried about, that you're disconnected from, I would reach out and try to reconnect and be prepared for some I told you so's, this is what you should be doing, but still likely a reception that is somewhat warm. Not necessarily open arms, this is so great, I'm so, happy that you've done this, but at least an ability to be civil and talk and, make some amends there and smooth things over if you're willing to listen to this person's advice. I think that's the big message here, is you need to be willing to listen to this person's advice. So, heavy stuff, channeling messages from guides, always a big responsibility. And I hope this helped you out. Feel free to ask any questions or drop any comments down below as to how this may have resonated with you or not. Let me know what pile you chose.